Hello, there's another story connected to Suella Braverman about a person called Siyabonga Twala from Chester who has been stuck in limbo in Ankara in Turkey for more than 6 months because he was blocked from boarding a flight back to Manchester in December. He wrote to the Home Office asking to be allowed to come back, but instead Braverman said that he was being denied that opportunity on the basis of serious criminality. That was a cannabis offence 5 years ago, for which I think he had some sort of a 9-month penalty. Now that's short of the amount which somebody would need in order to be expelled from this country. He was boarding a flight home with his parents and with his 9-year-old son Mason and his parents and siblings when he was prevented from getting into from boarding that flight in Istanbul on the 30th of December. And it was the first trip that that Twala had made since his family relocated from Durban to Chester when he was 15 years old. He had residency in the UK. He'd grown up in the UK. He'd not yet applied for citizenship. His immigration status now hangs in the balance because of that 2018 conviction for possession of cannabis with intent to supply. Now, the letter from the Home Office to his lawyer on the 14th of July says the Secretary of State, Suella Braverman, Hiss, has personally directed that you should be excluded from the United Kingdom on the grounds that your exclusion is conducive to the public good. The letter agrees that he is considered a low risk of reoffending, but maintains that on the basis of serious criminality, because the court believed that he dealt cannabis, he should be excluded from the UK. His MP is Diane Abbott, which I suppose doesn't help a great deal. She says that it was shocking that the Home Secretary is using an exclusion order in this type of case. Now, this dad, she says, resident in Britain is not a threat to the general public, and Suella must know this. Instead, she is implementing powers meant to be used against serious criminals to permanently exclude this man from Britain with no process and no right of appeal. It's completely wrong that he's permanently separated from his son, Mason. Nothing that he has done justifies this. We can only hope that Suella Braverman thinks again. His lawyer, Nicholas Hughes, says that it sets a worrying precedent. The concern is about the precedent that this might set if it goes unchallenged for such a low bar to what is considered a serious criminal. He doesn't pose a threat to society. It's completely perverse to say this is a proportionate response to a one-time drug offender. That's lunacy. He says this has to be challenged not only to protect Siyabonga and to bring him back to his family, but also to stop the Home Secretary abusing her discretion to apply to anyone she personally decides she doesn't want in the UK, irrespective of whether or not it's proportionate or the lawful thing to do. His son Mason, Twala's son Mason, celebrated his 9th birthday last week without his father. I speak to him as much as I can, he said, but I can't parent on the phone. And Mason is desperate for his father. The separation from his son, the uncertainty of his future has taken its toll. It's been hell, says Twala. I've tried everything I can do to stay sane, but it's been really difficult. I think it's harder than prison. He's relying on help and charity from strangers to stay in Ankara. He's doing his best to make his money stretch. I'm eating 1 meal a day right now, and some days I'm really hungry. The Home Office, in response, says, we don't comment on individual cases. No, but I'm sure it's something that Suella Braverman is undoubtedly dreaming about when she can interrupt her dreams from their main focus on Rwanda.